Hey, all right, we're live on air. Welcome everybody to the 12th installment of Hangar 18, and with me, as always, is my heavy metal panty dropping brother, Spock to my Kirk, Dreadwind.
Hello, hello. We've
All
done
right, yeah,
12 of these already?
I know. Who'd ever thought we'd have fucking made it to 12? Like,
Wow.
it's amazing what you can do when you don't care that you don't have an audience, right?
Yeah, right.
So yeah, fuck it. So anyway, yeah, welcome to the 12th episode of Hangar 18, and this is the second half of the fan suggested uh, songs, and there were some pretty good ones in this, and there were some pretty not good ones in this, just like last time. So yeah, we're gonna go through those. We're gonna review them, and if you don't like our opinions, then you're wrong. And in fact, if Dreadwind doesn't like my opinion, he's wrong. Really, the only one who matters here is me, is what I'm trying to say.
What?
So yeah.
You are 50% correct.
All right, okay.
Which
So
also
anyway,
means you're 50% wrong.
you're
So,
wrong. Remember that cartoon where they had the dog? And it was like, I'm 50% pointer. There it is. There it is. There it is. I'm 50% setter. And then he'd like sit in a rocking chair and he had like a kilt on and he would go put a pipe in his mouth and he'd go, Irish setter. And then like at the end, he was like, I'm 50% Labrador, and Porky Pig didn't believe him. And he said, well, do you got a Labrador? If you have one, I'll go and retrieve it. Yeah, fuck it. All right, that's a long story. All right, so first off, we're going to talk about heavy metal news. And my piece of heavy metal news for this week is about Mr. James Hetfield of Metallica. And apparently James Hetfield moved away from San Francisco because he thought that the people there were elitist fuckheads. He didn't say that exactly. He didn't add the fuckheads part. I added that. And the reason being is because, he's like a kind of a down-to-earth type guy, and, he likes to hunt, and he's a member of the National Rifle Association. And that kind of stuff just does not fly in San Francisco, who apparently...
California at all.
Yeah, California in general, right. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not a big hunter. I don't go out and hunt, and I'm not... But I don't begrudge people that do that, because animals hunt other animals. That's evolution. That's like not something somebody just decided to do to be a dick. I mean, that's why we have pointy teeth, is to hold on to meat while the other fucking teeth grind it up, right? I mean, it's just, I'm not trying to like preach or anything. Or if you don't like hunting, that's also fine. My only thing about hunting is if you do it just to like get a horn or get a head to put on your wall, that's kind of a dick move. But if you're hunting deer to eat the deer, which is what he does, which is what James Hetfield does, and what like a lot of people I know do, who gives a shit? I mean, first off, I know like the deer population, sometimes they get out of control, and they can actually like have like, you could have 80% of them starve to death, or you could have 10% of them get taken by hunters. Your choice, right?
Right.
So I have no problem with the hunting.
And not only the deer, but it affects the whole ecosystem in general.
Right. So
if there's an overpopulation of deer, they start eating all the food, and then other animals it starts affecting other animals as well.
Exactly, it's a chain reaction in the ecosystem, right? So, and here's the thing about San Francisco, and it's pretty much, in my opinion, a lot of people are like this. They want to say, hey, guess what? We're inclusive, but we're only inclusive up to the point where you disagree with us, and then we're not inclusive anymore, right?
Right.
And if you think San Francisco is an inclusive city, go there and try to work a normal job with the same salary and try to get a house. Not going to happen, right? Like I could transfer my house as it stands now to the middle of San Francisco, and it would go up in value like 1,000%. So that's my piece of heavy metal news. James Hetfield bugged out of. He went to Vail, Colorado, because San Francisco are elitist fucktards. So that's mine.
Very interesting. I did not know that. There was a funny story about James Hetfield from somebody else I had seen somewhere. I think it was just a regular guy, but he lives apparently in the same area as James Hetfield, like same general neighborhood.
Huh?
And he's an actual fan of Metallica. But, when you're a fan of somebody, you don't expect to see them just, on the street, right?
Like mowing the yard and shit? Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like out walking his dog, And then this dude walks up and he walking his dog, and he's got tattoos and everything, and it's like, oh hey, what's up? How you doing? Do you live around here or whatever? And they start chatting, and he's just like completely oblivious that he's talking to James Hetfield, right?
Right.
He says, so what do you do? He goes, oh, I'm in a band. It's like, oh, all right, or he says a local band. That's what it was. James goes, yeah, I'm in a local band. It's like, oh, okay. What's the name of your band? Maybe I've heard of you guys, right? I mean, he's just like completely oblivious. It's not hitting him. And he says Metallica, and then it hits him. It's like, oh, of course. And then he has the ultimate brain fart moment for a fan, right? He goes, oh, of course, you're Lars.
Those two look so much alike and sound so
right.
awesome.
He just had a complete brain fart, and I'd read the post because he was like, dear James, I'm not an idiot. Trust me.
That's awesome.
He was just like, I can't believe I did that. It was just funny.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah, that's made me think of that. That wasn't my news. Your story made me think of that. My news is that former members of the band White Wizard and one of the guys that used to be in Iced Earth, one of the guitar players, I believe, are forming a new band called Witherfall.
Witherfall.
And yeah, and I don't really know much else about it other than it features, let's see, guitarist Jake Dreyer, who used to be in Iced Earth, and I think he used to be in White Wizard as well, and singer Joseph Michael, who used to be in White Wizard, and also featuring the late Adam Sagan, Sagan. I might be pronouncing that wrong.
Is he related to Carl Sagan?
I'm not sure. He used to be in Into Eternity.
All right.
Anyway, they have a so it says late, so he's apparently recently passed. So I don't know if anyone's going to be replacing him. But anyway, so new band, new project, new music from them called Witherfall. So check it out.
So White Wizard, did they name that after Sour Man?
I'm not sure, but we may have to review one of their songs here soon.
Because that definitely sounds like a Sour Man type thing there.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So our first song.
I've heard of them before, but I don't know where their name came from.
Oh, I got you. All right. So, all right. Here's my great segue. Our first song. Our first song is from Stuart Foley, who himself runs a podcast. I think it's called The Trek Yards, and he talks about like really, really in-depth Star Trek stuff. I've actually watched a couple episodes of it. It's pretty good. If you're a Star Trek fan, which I am. Check it out. Anyway, this song that he suggested.
That has nothing to do with this song.
Right, nothing. Right, I'm just throwing that out there. Just a little background for you. That's what I do. Anyway, the song he chose was Mama Said Knock You Out, which is obviously a cover of the classic LL Cool J song by Five Finger Death Punch with Tech Nine. Five Finger Death Punch formed in Las Vegas, Nevada in 2005. The drums on this song, I thought, I'm just going to write it in my notes. The drums I thought were way too loud. There was a weird pedal effect on the breakdown guitar. And my final note is this sounds like garbage. I'm not talking about the band Garbage. I'm talking about just garbage. And I didn't like the original version because to me it represented everything I think is bad about rap. Is when they're like, I'm the baddest motherfucker ever, and that's their whole song is variations on that theme. So I'm not a fan of that, and I'm not really a fan of this cover, and I wasn't a fan of the rapping part of it. I give it a 4.5 Dreadwind.
Yeah, Five Finger does a lot of odd covers, and I give them props for trying something different, and kind of thinking outside the box, I guess. I thought the intro was kind of interesting. The main rhythm that they ended up coming up with, because when you have a completely different style of song and you have to transfer it over to metal, you kind of have to come up with something that wasn't originally there. So the actual rhythm itself, I thought wasn't too bad. The part with Tech Nine did not like at all.
That shocked me.
The little beat down breakdown part, not a fan of that. It got very repetitive towards the end. Of course, that's how the original is. He just says "Mama said knock you out," 50 times before the song's over. Not a fan. 5. Yeah.
All right, so we're off on a good start here.
Yeah.
All right, our next song was suggested to us by Lou Martoffel, and every time I read his name on my page, which is quite often, I always think of potatoes because Kartoffel is the German word for potato, and his name is Martoffel, which is close.
There you go.
All right. Anyway, his song was Hypocrisy, and
boy, you're breaking out the learning today, aren't you?
I am fucking trying to educate people. The more you know, motherfucker, right? So anyway, the band was Hypocrisy, which was formed in Ludvika, Sweden in 1990. The song was called Roswell 47 off of their album Abducted, released in 1996. This has a really eerie opening, but I found the guitars in this song boring. That's like the best word I could come up with to describe the guitars in the song. Because it's really like two sets of riffs, right? And they just kept switching between the two. And then there's one little flourish, and then that was it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually a Hypocrisy fan. I like Hypocrisy, the band. The vocals were good, I thought. Just like it was just kind of uninspired, I thought. I gave it a 6.5.
Yeah, it's very slow and heavy, but there, like you said, there's not a lot of change up. Like there's really only like the 2 parts, like you said, and there's no there's just no change up. It's just kind of the same droning, monotonous rhythm, I guess, all the way through it. This one came out in 96, I believe, if I remember right.
Yeah, Abducted came out in 1996, yes.
Yeah, I actually have the album that came after this, and I think just 1 year later, I think 97, Final Chapter.
Uh-huh.
And his vocals are a lot different. Just, I don't know what changed from the 1 year to the next, if it was a different producer or different recording process or what, but his vocals sounded a bit more strained, I guess, on this one than the Final Chapter that I have, than what I'm used to hearing him, how I'm used to hearing him sing. So I just thought that was a little, I don't know, kind of off-putting a little. Overall, I gave it a 7. It's not my favorite Hypocrisy song. I have a few other ones that I like.
Me too.
It wasn't horrible. But
okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Didn't do too much.
All right. Our next song is by Iced Earth, which is one of Dreadwind's favorite bands there. And at least I'm gathering, because every time he's always heaping praise on him. Well, I'm trying to bring him down. Anyway, this one was suggested to us by Schuyler Barrow. And I'm going to continue with my learning theme. Fuck it. Barrows is a word for like an ancient burial mound. How you like them apples?
There you go. And I'll just interject too. We talked about this off air for just a minute, but if you haven't listened to these songs before and you go through the playlist, which is usually posted in the comment section underneath the podcast, plug. If you go through the playlist, the particular video that Thundercracker picked for this one is a horrible transfer. It sounds like somebody transferred it from an old worn out cassette tape or something.
I think it was 8-track, I think.
Yeah, don't listen to that one. Go search for it somewhere else. And
yeah, look for a high definition version of it.
Yeah, get a better version. Yeah.
Anyway, Iced Earth formed in Tampa, Florida. A lot of good bands came out of Tampa, Florida. 1985, and basically you could call Iced Earth the John Schaefer project, because there's like been 1,000 members of Iced Earth, but John Schaefer is like the guy.
Right.
This is off of their album Horror Show, released in 2001. And first thing I want to say is, of course, it has the super duper high pitched vocals. And that to me is immediately off putting. Right? I don't like that.
You know you love that.
I don't like it. The main riff though, like that main little riff that they did, every time I heard that, I kept thinking of like an ancient burial chamber, and you had like a dude down in there like mummifying somebody, right? And I think that was probably like their point. So they did a good job on that. The little solo they had was badass, but it was it was short. It was like 20. What did you need 20 seconds? I bet it was more like along the lines of 12 seconds. But it was really, really good. But the drums in this song, I found them uninspired, which is a word that I don't often use. But I found the drums uninspired. They're just kind of I don't know, humdrum to me. Humdrum drums.
Humdrum.
Humdrums. All right. So anyway, I give it a 6.5. It was okay, but not my favorite Iced Earth ever. But go ahead, Dreadwind.
Okay. Yeah, I love the intro. I think it's got great guitar work in it. This is kind of your classic Matt Barlow era, which Matt Barlow is the singer, which is my favorite incarnation of Iced Earth. This particular song, of course, being Emotep, is about kind of like the Mummy story.
Right. Yep.
And that the whole album Horror Show that this song is from is all about every song on that album is themed about one of your classic horror stories. There's a song about Dracula on there. There's a song about the creature from the Black Lagoon. There's a Frankenstein song. There's a Phantom of the Opera song. There's a Jack the Ripper. There's a werewolf. Yeah, all your classic horror show is kind of a themed album, which is pretty cool. And this is
what about a Kardashian song? They had one of those.
Unfortunately, I believe this was before the Kardashians.
Predates the Kardashian horror show.
Predates that particular horror show. Yeah, but it's one of my favorite songs off this particular album. Like I said, it's got a great solo. I love Matt Barlow. I'm a fan. I'm sorry, 8.5. I love it.
I kind of figured that would be a high one for you there.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it on the list, I was like, oh shit, here we go. All right.
I don't like every Iced Earth song, but this is one of the ones I like.
Anything to make my panty dropping brother happy, I guess. All right. The next song we have was suggested to us by John O'Neill, whose name I think spelled exactly like April O'Neil's of Turtles fame. So there you go. I'm going to keep on learning you. Let me start that one more time. The song is by a band called Soilwork, formed in Sweden in 1995. It is the title track off their 2000 album, The Chainheart Machine. And as soon as I read The Chainheart Machine, I'm like, this is going to kick ass because I'm a Warhammer 40K fan. And every time I see chain in front of something like Chainsword or Chain Axe, I'm like, this is going to be badass. But no, not quite. The opening sounds a bit like a car that's trying to start but won't start, is what I thought. There is a strange pause at like a minute and a half that really doesn't need to be there, I thought.
Yeah.
This song itself, there are some good Soilwork songs. I've heard a couple on sampler CDs. This is not among them. To me, it sounds like Carcass if Carcass like forgot 80% of what they know about music. So not that the solo was pretty good. The guitars at the end, it sounded to me like you ever like when everybody wants to do a horror movie when they do like the violins for drama, like the really fast violins, like they do in Devil Went Down to Georgia when the devil starts playing his part. You know, I'm talking about the guitar sounded like that to me. That was like a long fucking like route to come around to explain that, but I did it. I give it a 6.
Excellent violin impersonation, by the way.
Yes, as is per standard, our pantomiming of instruments is not very good. I give it a 6.0. So yeah, not my favorite. Go ahead.
Yeah, it starts out. It's got a fairly fast, brutal opening, and then the singer's pretty much just straight up screaming all the way through it, which I'm not a huge fan of. Straight screaming quite like that.
He prefers the. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't mind screaming here and there, but just I don't know, the way he was doing it in this particular song didn't appeal to me. The drumming's pretty good. The solo I thought was impressive, but it sat a little low in the mix. Could have been brought up a little bit. That stop was weird because it just everything like I thought the song was over.
Me too. Right. And it's in a weird spot too.
Yeah. And there's a lot of changes. I'm usually a fan of change ups, but these sounded really disjointed.
Yep.
You know, they didn't flow into each other or they didn't transition well, I guess is the best way to put it. Not really a fan of this one either. I gave it a 6.5.
Yep. Wow. All right. I think you've rated every single one of these songs higher than me, at least by 0.5.
Yeah, I think so.
Throw them the other way around.
Yeah. I don't think that trend's gonna continue, but go ahead.
Probably not. All right, so our next song was suggested to us by Sam Sturgill. And it is by a little known band called Megadeth, and they are
Oh,
from
I've heard of those guys.
yeah, they're from Los Angeles, California, formed in 1983, and this is the title track to their album Countdown to Extinction. And the very first note I have is the brilliant opening, right? Like the part where they do the drum part, it goes run dun 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 run dun 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 dun. That's just fucking awesome.
Yep.
The bass part there, I think it's a bass guitar that's doing that. And
Yeah.
I'm a fan of that. I like it because I think, to me, I think basses, like bands that know how to use them correctly, like as part of the rhythm section and not just like buried behind the guitar, and where they actually like will have bass parts sometimes that where you can hear the bass. I think those are good bands, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Underrated instrument, in my opinion. Anyway, the lyrics are pretty preachy about this song. I mean, obviously they're talking about, hey, don't fucking kill off all the life forms. That's bad to do that. And my other notes here are they do this part where like this chick comes in and she's talking about the rate of disappearances of species, and she has this weird accent, and I can't place what her accent is. It sounds almost like Eastern European, but I'm not. But maybe like a little bit of Asian in there too, but I have no idea. It's like 1 hour from now. I don't know. That was a great impersonation of her, I think. And I also put down comparatively weak solos. It's like if you picked a song off of Countdown to Extinction, it would not be Countdown to Extinction, in my opinion.
This is true.
I mean, I would pick Symphony of Destruction or Sweating Bullets or Psychotron or one of the other songs in there because I don't know, there are some better songs, but it's Megadeth, so I give it a 7.5.
Yeah, first of all, it's a great album overall. The opening bass line, like you said, is really, really good. Bass is one of those instruments that sometimes you don't notice it until it's not there.
Right. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like Injustice for All.
Yep.
Cough,
definitely
cough.
No bass there. Yep.
One
story here. I don't know if you ever seen A Year and a Half of Life Metallica, right? I guess once they got done playing the Black Album for like one of their friends, James Hetfield goes, his friend asked him, "Hey, what's all that low end noise?" And James is like, "Yeah, we call that a bass."
Yeah, I remember that. God, it's been forever since I've seen that.
Yeah, me too. I have it on VHS.
So I do too, somewheres. I don't have a VCR anymore, so I can't watch it though. But yeah, the bands that can incorporate good bass lines, they really stand out.
Megadeth definitely one of those.
Yep. The lyrics, like you said, they're a little preachy. It's about kind of like what you were talking about earlier about killing for sport, as opposed to just straight up hunting for food. It's kind of preaching against that, for trophy type stuff. Yeah. So the lyrics are well done. I thought Dave is usually an excellent lyric writer, and this is no exception to that. There's some good guitar work. Overall, it's a slower song, and there's not much to it in general. But if you really listen, there's some good guitar work going on in the background, particularly during like the chorus. Kind of the da 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 in the background.
The trend continues.
And the solo, like you said, the solo is, I guess it fits the song. It's tasteful, but there's not much to it. It's like 4 notes.
Right.
So, not my favorite off the album. Again, like you, not the song I would pick to say, hey, listen to this. This is Megadeth. But it's still Megadeth. I gave it a 7.5 also.
Hey, look at that. We matched on one. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So our next song is by a little-known band called Megadeth.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And this one was suggested to us by Cameron Horace Graham. And again, it's one of those 3-word people, 3-name people, so you never know what you do. And that's why I want to say one thing about the name Graham, right? Fucking, why the fuck is it not just spelled Graham? Nobody says Graham, right?
Graham.
Fuck that shit, right? So I'm going on a crusade right now to have everybody who's named Graham or has Graham in their name and fucking graham crackers take the other HA out of it because it's extraneous and bullshit. I mean, think about how much time as a human race we have wasted putting those other 2 letters in there.
It's just cheating at Scrabble.
Right, exactly. Just get that. Yeah, fuck that. All right, so that was like way weird. Okay, so anyway, this is off of Cryptic Writings, which was released in 1997, and Cryptic Writings not exactly the best Megadeth album in my opinion by a long shot.
No.
I mean, it's okay, but I wouldn't put it above Rust in Peace or you know, the last one that we just talked about, Count Out to Extinction or Euthanasia or fucking a lot of them, right? Anyway, this song is called The Disintegrators. Here's the thing. This is a gem in a mediocre album, in my opinion. Amazingly quick start, great drumming with great guitar flourishes to go along with the drumming, I thought. Great solos, awesome fucking solos. The song, my only really complaint about the song was it's a little bit short at under 3 minutes, right? It sounds to me like they're going back to their thrash roots with this, and it reminds me every time I hear the Disintegrators, I always think of like a biker gang called the Disintegrators, like they're fucking like Disintegrators rocker on the bottom of their jacket, you know, just fucking coming in and fucking up a gas station. So that's right, or you know, a diner or something, and like fighting people with like log chains. That's what I always think of when I hear Disintegrators. So that's weird, but that's what I think of. Anyway, what did you think about? I go to 9.0, and Dreadwind, go ahead.
Yep. Cryptic Writings is not my favorite Megadeth album by a long shot. And I don't know, it's one of those albums that we talked about this with Metallica. It's not necessarily a bad album. It's just not a good one, you know?
Right.
Nothing really jumps out at you most of the time. And to be honest, this song is one of those songs. It's one of the better songs off the album, but the whole album doesn't jump out at me, and neither does this song. It's fast tempo. It kind of sounds like a standard, typical Megadeth song. You know, that standard Megadeth style and song, which is fine. But again, it doesn't jump out and grab you like some of their other ones do. The solo's good in it, but it just doesn't do much for me. And overall, I give it a 7.5. It's meh.
All right. So that's wrong. Let's move on to the next one. All right. The next one was suggested to us by John the Mountain Dew. And I think John Dew is actually in a band or one or two bands, because he's all the time, you know, showing me these like videos of like these like obscure bands, which I love because I love metal and I love to like learn about heavy metal, but nothing wrong with that. Anyway, this is a song by a band called Embalmed, formed in Dallas, Texas in 1987. And I just wanted to say that they are currently on, this is great, they're currently on Corpse Gristle Records, which that's awesome.
Nice. This
is from their album Brutal Delivery of Vengeance, released in 2013. I don't know why I said 2000 like that. That was weird. It starts off with like some radio traffic, like military radio traffic, where like people are like, hey, I see some people, and then like the person on the other end says, hey, if they have any weapons or if they show any signs of aggression, you're free to take them out. And then like they show like drone strikes and shit like that, which I think that's like kind of, I mean, it's not cool in the fact that, you know, people are dying. That's kind of, you know, macabre, but it's cool that like that's part of, that's what the whole song is about. It's like, you know, it's a song about killing insurgents is what it's about. And the song is called Surgeon Killer, so shockingly it fits, right? So anyway, I thought the radio traffic was kind of a neat touch. Great blast beat. I mean, some blast beat can be done good and it can be done badly. In this occasion, I thought it was done great. And the main riff was crunchy as all fucking get out. I mean, it was just crunch as fuck. I loved it. The vocals were great. They're very death metal standard vocals, and they were pretty sparse. Like, I thought it was just gonna be an instrumental, because like it was like halfway through the song before he said anything, and then he just said "Insurgent Killer," and then he just like, then they went on playing some more. I thought that was all he was gonna say, but you know, there was some lyrics.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, he said "Insurgent Killer." That was the first thing he said.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you got to get used to death metal. You got to get off. You got to get off that fucking high octave shit. Like, oh, and like you might start to understand. And you of all people with like the, you know, low baritone voice, you should be able to do that. God damn it.
You think so, huh? Yeah.
Brutal as fucking hell is my last note, and I give it a 9. And now we're gonna give it to Dreadwind, who's gonna bring me down. I know it. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's got the like you said the military radio intro, which I thought was cool, but it I felt the intro was just a tad long. I kept
Yeah,
waiting for
yeah,
the
I
song
can
to
see
start,
that. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But then the song kicks in and like it kicks off really fast, just speed, and then it goes into a really cool riff after that, which I really liked. It's got some good guitar in it. The vocals, that's my problem with this song. Um, I could not understand a single word he said. Like, I know that that's the kind of the death metal vocals, and I can put up with a lot of, like Max Cavalera kind of has that deeper growly vocal thing going on. I'm fine
Yep.
with that. I can put up with stuff like that. I want to at least be able to hear syllables in the words, though. I don't want. This just sounded like somebody was getting punched in the gut for 3 minutes. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
All right.
I need at least syllables. Even if it's in a different language, I want to hear syllables. Just not really a fan of this one. I gave it a 6.5.
Damn. See that?
Yeah.
Damn fucking Debbie Downer motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I know.
So that was wrong. Let's move on to the next one. All right. Now, full disclosure. I'm a colossal Slayer fan. I love Slayer.
You don't say.
I love Slayer. Slayer is probably one of my top 3 favorite bands. I love them. So I'm going to gush like fucking, I don't know, a little schoolgirl about this whole fucking thing because I love Slayer. God damn it. All right. Slayer formed in Huntington Park, California, 1981. Right? Fucking badass band. And this was suggested to us by Derek Stacy, and his first name is spelled just like oil derricks. So there's another little tidbit for you. That was kind of a weak one, but I had those reaching on that one. Anyway, this was from their South of Heaven album released in 1988, and this song is called Ghosts of War. And I love this song. It's fucking badass. And they started off like they have like they're playing like the main like part of it, but they have it like on a really low mix, and it kind of sounds like you're like, what the fuck? Did they like fuck up the song or something?
Mm-hmm.
You think maybe it's a live recording or something like that? And then they stop and they go did it, and they fucking just blast the fuck out of you with it. So my notes are badass vocals, great chorus, amazing drumming, amazing solos, great lyrics, and great breakdown. And I give it a motherfucking 10. Slayer. Dreadwind, go ahead.
Ghosts of War. Yeah, I thought it was like a really poor transfer or recording or something at first also, and then it kicked in. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, here we go.
Let me stop you there because Hatebreed does a cover of this song on their album For the Lions, which is just a whole bunch of covers. And they mimic that low opening part really, really good. So if you ever want to listen to a cover of it, which I know you probably won't, but it's really good. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, it's Slayer. It's got fast guitars, really good drumming, killer solos. There was a change up around 2 minutes in that was really, really sweet. I really liked that.
Yes. Yep. 207, if I'm not mistaken. Go ahead.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Really liked that. I really liked the second half of the song more than the first half. I've never been a big fan of Tom's voice, though. It works in some songs, and other songs it doesn't. So this one, not my favorite Slayer song, but it's not a bad one by any means. I give this one an 8.
God damn, you just fucking broke my heart.
I know.
You break my heart, Fredo.
Oh.
All right. Are you in a diner?
Sorry, not sorry. No, there's other people.
Oh, okay. You definitely sounds like somebody's like washing dishes behind you.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. I just fucking lost my own track there for a second. All right. Our next song was suggested to us by Stephen Groom. I'm assuming that's what it says. It looks like Groom now with an N, but that's probably my shitty handwriting. My handwriting is fucking just terrible. I should really work on that. I think it's because I squeezed the pencil too hard, and like I always like leave a mark on my index finger where my thumbnail just like punctures into it. Anyway, like you need to know that. And somebody's like taking notes. Fucking.
I usually just write too fast. I'm usually.
Yeah, I mean that's
yeah. My mind's like 5 words ahead of where my pen is, so I'm trying to catch up.
Then I see my wife's writing, and it's like it looks like looks like a font on the computer. It's perfect. I'm like Jesus Christ! All right. So anyway, that was fucking way off topic. All right. Steve Groom suggests "Run to the Hills" by Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden formed in 1975 in London, East London to be precise. I don't know what difference that makes, but East London, they felt it, necessary to specify that. So fuck, I'll do it too. This is off their Number of the Beast album, 1982. And the Number of the Beast is 666, kids. Carve that on your fucking forehead. No, I'm joking. Don't do that. Don't do that and sue me, but I'm just saying.
Not to be confused with the Neighbor of the Beast, which is 888.
Yes, sir. All right. All right. First of all, instantly recognizable opening drums and guitar. As soon as you hear that opening drum part, it's Run to the Hills immediately. Immediately, and the guitar too. Great subject matter. They're talking about when the white settlers came and pushed the Indians out of their lands or whatever. Of course. The guitars at one point they sound like a galloping horse, and he's talking about galloping on a horse right when they say that. So pretty fucking awesome, amazing vocals. And here's the thing, Bruce Dickinson, he's got that high voice, and I like it. So I don't know what it is about other high voice guys. I don't know. Maybe it's just some guys. I don't know. I'm only attracted to certain kinds of dudes. All right. My next note is the drums fucking rule. The drums are badass. They have a great breakdown. Although the problem is, like with the particular video I chose, there's like 3 minutes of dead air at the end of it. I don't know what the fuck that was all about.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But I was like, hey, maybe an extended version? No, it's just dead air. So fuck. But anyway, it's Iron Maiden, Run to the Hills. Instantly recognizable song, a classic heavy metal song. It was probably in your must-listen-to list. I give it a 10 because it's amazing. Go ahead, Dreadwind.
Yes. Yeah, the 2 minutes, I thought with the dead air at the end, I kind of thought maybe there's like a hidden something.
Hidden track,
hidden track or something. But no, it's just dead air. Yeah, I put iconic intro, like you said, when the drums kick in, you instantly know what it is. It's Iron Maiden, so the guitars are awesome. And you were talking earlier about bands where you can hear the bass in it.
Yeah,
this is one of them. You can hear the bass.
Definitely,
it's good. Bruce's voice is outstanding.
Yep.
Again, iconic, and it's hard to imagine Iron Maiden without Bruce Dickinson.
Oh yeah, couldn't happen. Nope.
And he's not their original singer, which is kind of mind-boggling. You always picture Iron Maiden with Bruce Dickinson, and he's not even their original singer.
Right.
But how many of you guys knew that?
I knew that.
Yeah. Also, Bruce Dickinson has the commercial pilot's license, and he flies the band around on their own private 747.
This is Iron Maiden on the fucking side. It has a big fucking head on it.
Ed Force One.
That's right. I mean, that's badass right there.
Awesome, man. That's it. So, great song. I give it a 9.5. It's not my favorite Iron Maiden song, but like you said, it's a must listen. It's required. It's Iron Maiden. It's iconic. It's everything. Yeah, awesome.
Up the irons. All right. All right. So our next song was suggested to us by Adam Hadley, and it's from a band called Meshuggah. And they were formed in Sweden in 1987. This is from their album Koloss, K-O-L-O-S-S, released in 2012. And the song is called I Am Colossus. And here's the thing about this song. I wanted to headbang it to it, but I'm not that good at math. I mean, it's just so discordant. When the fucking headbang? Who the fuck? All right. Great vocals, great video, weird discordant sound of this one. That's stock and trade from the sugar. That's what they do. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck this says. Peric breakdown? Something.
I don't know.
Something about the breakdown that I thought was important to take note of, but not important enough to write clearly.
Illegibly.
Yeah. Paris? I don't know. Anyway, thundering guitar.
I can't help you because I don't have anything that remotely looks like that.
Yeah. So yeah, sometimes like my fucked up writing, you're like, oh, you must have been talking about this.
Yeah.
But no. Anyway, I give it a 7.0. I like Meshuggah. I mean, you got to think that they're progressive metal, so that they do stuff that is not Metallica and it's not Slayer. But
I wouldn't quite put them in progressive metal, but they're kind of a hybrid between that. Remember a while back we talked about that genty
yep
stuff. They're a little more progressive than your typical.
That's what I mean. I meant progressive in like that they aren't your standard song structure type band. Not that they're Mastodon or anything.
Mastodon. They're not Dream Theater.
Right.
Which
so, Dream
Theater would be progressive metal.
Yeah, I give them a 7.0. I would call Dream Theater. I would call it Dream Theater. Never mind what I would call Dream Theater. I don't want to make you mad. Go ahead. Sit with your review.
Dream Theater's like atypical progressive metal. Yeah, they're like the next evolution from Rush. But anyway, way off track. Okay, Meshuggah has that very genty kind of thing going on. I think they were still using 8-string guitars at the time, which is just. But that's kind of the thing, the fad these days with these kids.
That sounds kind of
whatever. Yeah, I know. It's just not for me.
Sounds kind of elitist.
It is, huh? Yeah.
I don't like those kids with their 8-string guitars.
It's weird because I like 7-string guitars, but 8's just a little bit much for me, I guess. I guess my biggest gripe with it is when you get to 8-string guitars, you're literally getting into bass guitar range. So now you're crossing over from regular guitar to the bass guitar range, and I just all right, are you replacing one instrument? I don't know, whatever.
What if the string was one of the thinner strings on the other side? Maybe they wanted like a soprano guitar.
It's not.
I know, that's funny.
And then they tune them down a lot of times. A lot of these people take these things and how low can I get it? Hey, what's the lowest you ever tune? And they put like these big huge cables on it, and they tune down like 12 steps to minus F sharp squared cubed or whatever.
Yeah, I like drop tuning.
I like drop tuning too, but on the 7-string you're already down to B, which is typo negative.
I don't really know anything about music, so go
drop down one more from that, you're into A, which is corn, and then things just start getting muddy from there. So, but anyway, it's slow, it's heavy. There was a really cool rhythm change at 2 minutes. Maybe that's what your note was. I don't know. I just have rhythm change. Yeah, maybe. But it was pretty cool. Now his vocals were okay. I don't mind his vocals at all. I thought his vocals were pretty good on this song. The video was creepy as all get out.
Agree. I like the video too.
Yeah. Kind of reminded me of some Tool stuff, Right.
I would just guess maybe like some gothic boobs.
Yeah, maybe so. But with tape, right?
Yeah. Just an X taped across their boob.
Yeah, there you go. That might be for a future week. The singer, the whole time I'm listening to him, though, the singer reminded me of somebody, but I could not place who he reminded me of. I think maybe Mushroom Head.
Yeah, kind of a little bit. Yeah,
kind of a little bit. Yeah. I give it a 7. I'm sorry.
I was going to say actually a lot. He does sound like Mushroom Head guy. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think that's who he was reminding me of the whole time. I'm like, God, he sounds like somebody. Pretty sure that's who it was. Anyway, I give it a 7 also.
All right. Yeah. Well, hey, look at that. We matched up on one.
Yeah, 2 actually, I think.
Yeah, even though you fucked up my whole goddamn Slayer high.
I know. Got to do it.
Oh, I don't like Slayer. All right. So, now comes...
All right, Mr. Iced Earth. What was your score for Iced Earth again?
Iced Earth, 6.5.
Yeah, right.
My notes were pussy-ass opera vocals, but yeah, that was okay.
Yeah, right. Okay.
All right, so... All right, we're musing the hell out of ourselves. I don't know if anybody's listening, but 2 people are listening, and fuck it, we have a good laugh about it. So yeah. Anyway, our next segment is where we talk about concert experiences. And I'm going to cheat this week, and I'm not going to talk about a concert experience. I'm going to talk about something what I think I need to rant about a little bit, because it's, as of late, it is making me mad, right? And what it is I'm a member of a lot of heavy metal groups, and I'm not like bands, but like people that talk about heavy metal, because I have no talent with music. But and I'm also like trolling YouTube all the time for new heavy metal type music, right? Mm-hmm. And some of the things I see a lot of times are people say, "Oh, you're just a heavy metal purist." Okay, people throw that insult out there all the time. You're a heavy metal purist, right? And yeah, you know what? I am a heavy metal purist, and here's why I'm a heavy metal purist. Because if you let shit creep into your genre, right? Like, for instance, you remember when pop music used to have like lyrics, and it used to have like feeling, and it used to have song structures and instruments, and now it's just about a drum machine and a semi-attractive chick that can kind of sing humping things. That's all of pop music is that now.
Exactly. Right? All right. Here's a great example. Pop music from the 60s, 50s, and 60s, right? Beatles.
Right. I mean, even
pop music now, Nicki Minaj.
Right. Even if you say compare like Michael Jackson to say Lady Gaga. I mean, there's no comparison. Michael Jackson is infinitely better and Lady Gaga might be a bad example, but she's actually okay.
She's actually talented with
she's take piano. Your pick of the shitty bands, right? So here's the and same thing with country music, right? Country music used to be about like Merle Haggard and Hank Williams Sr., Charlie Daniels, and I can't believe I can't think of his name, the Man in Black,
Johnny Cash.
Yeah, Johnny Cash. Amazingly soulful music, right? That had like awesome song structures and great thought out lyrics, and now it's just basically a little bit slightly twangier pop music. Mm-hmm. It's they've ruined it, and that's why I'm a fucking heavy metal purist, and fuck you if you don't like it, because I want bands like Slayer to always be Slayer. So like and they say well there's room for stuff like baby metal and whatever the fuck else, but no, there isn't. You have every other genre. Let us have our fucking heavy metal, for Christ's sake, right? That's all we want. It's not popular. You've won. Turn on a radio, go into a gym, go into a restaurant, go into a nightclub. You're not going to hear Slayer. You're going to hear Nicki Minaj. You're going to hear Taylor Swift. You fucking won. Same thing with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. For the love of God, stop fucking putting shit in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's not rock and roll. And they might say, well, it's got a rock and roll vibe to it, and they're against the you've won. For Christ's sake, rock and roll is super duper unpopular right now. I mean, you show a kid a guitar nowadays, they're like, what the fuck is that? And where do you plug into USB? Right? So, fuck. Let us have heavy metal, for Christ's sake. And yes, I'm a heavy metal purist. And fuck it. I have no apologies for that. So when people come up with something like, baby metal, or like, I don't know, fucking, what's the name? Celine Dion, like trying to cover AC/DC. Fuck that shit. All right, I'm done now. I just had to say something about that because it was bothering me for a while. Heavy metal purist. I think it's a badge of honor.
Are you ready for this, folks? Get ready for this, folks. Did you listen to Lady Baby?
I did. I did listen to Lady Baby. And fucking goddamn Dread, I was so happy in my life not having what Lady Baby was. And then Dreadwind's like, hey, guess what? You were listening to baby metal. He's like, hey, check this out. Listen to this baby or a Lady Baby. And he said it was awful, but I had no idea that it was going to be this awful.
I warned you that you would be scarred for life.
Right, but I mean, that's like saying to somebody, hey, getting shot with this musket in the pelvis might hurt a little bit. And then you get shot and you're like, well, it's a little bit more than a little bit, because Jesus Christ, I'm going to have nightmares about this stuff. It's like two little Japanese girls and then like this big burly guy dressed up like a Japanese girl doing weird shit. So, yeah, bizarre.
Yes, you have to share my suffering.
All right, so in rant, drop mic, and Dreadwind, what was your concert experience?
That's hard to follow, man. I'm gonna have to be another downer for this one.
God damn it, Dreadwind.
I know. I went to go see Tool one time, I'd seen them once before, and the first time I saw them was a really good show. So we're going with a friend of mine. They were playing in town, and my friend she's a huge Tool fan. I mean, absolutely loves like everything they do, right?
I just want to say that Tool is an anagram for loot.
Yeah, okay. uh, and also, yeah, okay, never mind. So we get to the concert, and you have to wait in line to get in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have the building and the lines going down the side of the building. Pretty
Right,
typical. Yeah. So we get in line, we're on the side of the building, and we go down. We're waiting. The line's taking a while, but it's moving slowly. Again, pretty typical, but the corner of the building's right there, and the line, turns the corner. So we're like, okay, we're not too far. So we turn the corner, right? No. The line turned the corner, went down about halfway down the building, and then turned the opposite direction away from the building, down the street, 2.5 blocks, turned left again another block, turned back towards the building, went down to a stairway off to the right again, and then down to the left, and then back around to the building again.
Holy shit, I feel like I'm in a Mario Brothers world here for a second.
I know, right? And the reason why, when we finally got like 2 hours later, finally got to the front of the building to where we could see it, the front of the building's got like, it's got like probably 8 or 9 doors, on the front, and then there's a front side. It's kind of like at an angle, right?
Uh-huh.
Like a 45-degree angle where the doors are, and there's probably 8 or 9 doors there. And then there's the front, and then on the other side, away from us, is another 45-degree angle where there's probably another 8 or 9 doors. So of these, 18, 20 doors that they have, 2 were open.
Oh, God, I hate when they do that shit.
And of course, you've got the Gestapo patting everybody down.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Checking your cigarette packs and everything. Yep.
It took us forever to get in. We completely missed the opening band. I'm assuming it was just one. We may have missed both of them. I don't even know. Only one was billed. There's usually 3 bands. We missed whoever was opening. We missed. By the time we got in,
Tool, Kenny Loggins.
Tool was already on stage playing by the time we got in.
Oh, that sucks, man.
And we were there. I've been to my fair share of concerts. We were there plenty of time. That's how long it took us just to get in. And then we finally get in. We get around to kind of the back area, and we see Tool. All right, Tool. At least we catch Tool. I think they just started. We're okay, right? Then Tool proceeds to play their set, and for whatever reason, they decided that for this particular tour, they were going to play all of their most obscure songs that nobody has ever heard of.
Oh, great.
And with, I might have recognized 3 songs from the entire set. And then on top of that, they didn't stop in between songs.
Oh, I hate that.
They just segued straight into another song. And I couldn't tell, you're in like 20 minutes into the show. You're like, is this the same song? Stopped. Even my friend, who is a diehard Tool fan, was bored out of her mind. The whole place was bored. And then when they would stop, played 4 songs in a row, they would stop and they'll say, "Hey, how y'all doing out there?" What do you expect? And they'll kick into another song, and you could even see the whole crowd. You could feel the whole crowd would be like kind of waiting to try to figure out what. I can't tell. And then then they would finally kick into one of their more recognizable songs, and then the crowd would get into it for a few minutes, and then that song where that song ends, they didn't stop playing. They would just segue into something else that you've never heard before. It was a horrible concert.
Yeah, that sounds like a cheesegrater hand job.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So that's my concert story. That was horrible.
All right, that sounds thoroughly terrible.
It was.
All right. Yeah.
That's why I didn't mention it before. It was horrible.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun at all. Although Maynard is like weird to start with, so I mean
he is, but yeah, and the first time I saw them, they were great. They played most of their big songs that people actually know. they actually stopped in between songs and would interact with the crowd. Maynard came out, and the first time we saw him, he came out dressed like Jimmy Swaggart.
Nice.
He had the wig and the suit and everything, and he's doing like this fake preachy thing, but putting like a satanic spin on it, which I thought was hilarious. And they were energetic, and the crowd was into it, and it was a great show the first time we saw him. The second one, complete opposite.
Yeah, speaking of Scarred for Life, fucking open up the CD liner of Undertow and then look at that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so anyway, yeah, that does it for our show today. And now that fucking Dreadwind just fucking the plane was like up in the air and he just crashed us into the goddamn jungle. Cool story, right? So,
yeah.
So anyway, I want to thank the two listeners for listening, and everybody who listens to it later, which is to say me and Dreadwind. And it was a fun time, and stay tuned next week, because next week it's going to be all Dreadwind picks. So if they suck, you know who to blame, Dreadwind.
That's right. I'm taking the wheel next week.
He's in the wheelhouse, and he's up there, White Line Fever. So anyway, thanks for listening, and stay fucking metal, Dreadwind.
Stay metal. I'll be on my Quaaludes next week.
Horns up, motherfuckers. We're out.